mahesabu ya siasa. So let me give you this arithmetic. Hesabu ya siasa. You have a candidate vying for the governorship of Nairobi called Johnson Sakaja. And if you can get Nairobians to believe he's a Luhya, he has the full backing of some of the principals of Kenya Kwanza. Moses Wetangula, who is a Bukusu, and Musalia Mudavadi. We're together up to that point. However, there is another Luhya candidate who seems now to have been pushed aside kidogo, if I can put it like that, is being asked to vie for the deputy position, deputy governor of Nairobi. Now Wanyonyi also hails from Luhya land, but here's the catch. The real name of Timothy Wanyonyi, wait for this one, is Timothy Wanyonyi Wetangula. Oh yes, is the kid brother of Moses Wetangula, the Bungoma governor. Yeah. Now you can start to see how complicated this arithmetic was, even before Azimio stepped in and denied us this battle royale. Okay? Because the question is, and we know blood is thicker than water, who will Wetangula voters vote for? Will they go for Sakaja? Or will they go for mtu wa Ingo, Tim Wanyoyi, who's in fact the brother of a man they love? I'm talking about the Bukusus in Nairobi, called Moses Wetangula. But there's something deeper about this latest controversy in Nairobi, and I cover it extensively on my show. I have reason to believe you are going to be very surprised. Meanwhile, usisahau weekly intelligence briefings number 77. I have now extended my offer to midnight, Friday 22nd April 2022. I have been convinced that many people who come to this channel come and usually take videos in batches. Maybe they're very busy at work for 2-3 days. Therefore, a lot of them would have missed this offer, and that's why I've extended it slightly to Friday 22nd at midnight Kenyan time. So make sure you take full advantage of it. Otherwise, let's get this show on the road, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourself thoroughly. Karibu sana. There is a lot of controversy brewing over the gubernatorial race for Nairobi County. You see, Nairobi is the capital of Kenya, and Nairobi County has always been an administration nightmare, okay, over the years. But this latest controversy is over the decision by the Azimio team to nominate a non-politician, an outsider, actually a businessman, a business executive, to vie on the coalition ticket as the next governor of Nairobi. And then to be deputized by ODM front runner for the governorship, a man called Tim Wanyoyi. You see, Tim Wanyoyi has been campaigning for a long time, for years, and he has had his eyes set on being governor of Nairobi. Indeed, since 2013. Yeah. But now, the Azimio team wants Wanyonyi to step aside, yeah, withdraw his bid for the governorship, and instead deputize a business executive, Polycarp Igathe. This is the same Polycarp Igathe who was set up, alipandwa, planted, as a running mate of a man called Mike Sonko in 2017. Now, of course, this has raised a lot of hue and cry. So on today's show, I want us to fully understand, to dig very deep into the dynamics and the possible consequences of this Team Azimio decision. Now, for us to fully understand what is going down here, we have to start by first of all analyzing the race for the next governor of Nairobi, even before this latest Azimio team decision. Yeah, because it's quite fascinating. It was already quite fascinating. Super fascinating, if I may add. Let's start with Tim Wanyoyi. Tim Wanyoyi is a very unique Kenyan politician. In the time he has served as Member of Parliament of Nairobi's Westlands, yeah, and I know when I mention Westlands, you think of rich people, shops owned by foreigners, shops owned by rich and famous people in Westlands. But actually most of Westlands, most of the voters come from slum areas like Kangemi, etc., etc. Yeah. Anyway, in the time Honorable Wanyonyi has been Member of Parliament of Westlands, he has made a mark. He has proved to be very popular on the ground. He is the kind of politician who gets things done. Yeah, he's a hands-on Member of Parliament. And one of the things you need to know about Wanyonyi in order to understand everything is about this incident that happened to him about 23 years ago that completely changed his life. You see, Wanyonyi, during a carjacking, yeah, where some armed people snatched away his car, but then also shot him on the back, yeah, and the bullet injured vital parts of his spinal cord. That incident changed his life forever. Yeah. Of course, one of the things that happened is that Wanyonyi was told by doctors he may never be able to walk again. And indeed, he had to proceed abroad for rehabilitation, yeah, so that he can be able to cope, because life became impossible. Imagine one day you're very healthy, walking around, running around, doing your business. Then the next day, you're confined to a wheelchair. That's what happened to Wanyonyi. At the time, Wanyonyi was working, yeah, for a farm, which Kenyans know very well because Wanyonyi is a lawyer. He was working for a very famous legal firm called Wetangula and Associates. Yep, belonging to that Wetangula, Moses Wetangula, yeah, the senator from Bungoma, who happens to be, wait for this one, Tim Wanyonyi's older brother. In fact, Tim Wanyonyi's full names are Tim Wanyoyi Wetangula. Many people don't know this. And when Wanyonyi went back to work, yeah, after his carjacking ordeal, this time on a wheelchair, his big brother decided that a soft landing for his kid brother was not to give him any work, not to stress him with work, yeah, which of course just made things worse. To cut a long story short, after Wanyonyi came back from his rehabilitation abroad, he set up his own farm, yeah, which still runs to this day. Now, I gave you that information because it is very important. It's key to what I'm going to analyze next. You see, people have always said that Nairobi, like any other county in the country, is a county where you can never win the gubernatorial race unless you take into account the tribal arithmetic. I don't totally agree, because the person who won that seat in 2017 rubbished the tribal arithmetic. But I'll come to that in a minute. Of course I'm talking about Mike Sonko, but I'll come back to that. But allow me to humor all those analysts who stick to tribe, kama kupe in the analysis. So let's analyze it like that to start with. So you have in Nairobi Tim Wanyoyi Wetangula, who is a Luhya, and then he's vying against another Luhya, allegedly, a man called Johnson Sakaja. Of course, such a lineup will quickly remind a keen observer of the presidential race in 2002, where we had the front runners as Uhuru Kenyatta and Mwai Kibaki, both from the house of Mumbi. And in that particular presidential election, the tribal thing was virtually non-existent, because both leading candidates hail from the same community. In my view, something very beautiful and nice in Kenya, because people stick to tribe. People have tribal emotions. Even very intelligent people, very well-educated people, will always fall back on their tribe. Sad. So when it is eliminated for any reason, it has to be a good thing for the country. It has to be a good thing for Kenya. But let me make my point. So you have two Luhyas vying for the same seat in Nairobi, where you have virtually every community you can think of in the country. But the majority are the Kikuyu in Nairobi, followed by the Luhya, closely followed by the Luo, and then the Kamba, and then the other communities. Now the chief worry of both candidates would be how to get the Luhya vote, how to lock in the Luhya vote for themselves. I think now you'll understand very well and very clearly why somebody would want to highlight the fact that Johnson Sakaja may not be a Luhya, and that in fact his father hails from another community. It's only his mother was a Luhya. Now, I'm not accusing anybody, but politics is very competitive, and all I'm saying is that you'd fully understand which side would want to highlight that the other candidate is not a Luhya. Okay, let me just leave it at that. Now, Sakaja is a serving senator, but then there's something many analysts have missed. The main reason why Sakaja won his senatorial seat in 2017 was one man, Mike Sonko, who is now missing. So in my view, Johnson Sakaja, as a political competitor in Nairobi, is an unknown factor. That's my opinion, because he has not been well and truly tested in competitive politics. But still, up to that point, the writing was very clearly on the wall. Bwana Tim Wanyoyi was going to be the next governor of Nairobi. And chances are very high that he would have won by a landslide. And I'll tell you why. As we have seen, he would already have locked in the Luhya vote, which is substantial in Nairobi. Luhyas will excuse me. I'm a Luhya myself. But think of all those watchmen, all those cooks in Nairobi. But then, of course, Luhyas hold other seats, very important seats in town, very influential ones as well. But I'm talking about numbers, because politics is a numbers game. The votes are not in the apartments, I'm sorry. The votes are in the slums. And I believe in one of the very first videos on this channel, I portrayed that very clearly. Because you go into an apartment, and in one house, maybe even nobody has got a voter's card. You go to one small 10 by 10 room in a slum, and you'll not be surprised if there are 5 people there with voters' cards. Yeah, and you know, a 10 by 10, and there are many in the slum. Translate that into votes. Those are many votes. Yeah, that's really what Nairobi politics is all about. Indeed, if you want to understand it very well, the middle class have no say. They talk the loudest. They make the most noise on social media. Yeah, but then at the end of the day, it is the slums of Nairobi who decide. Let me give you a little proof. In 2017, the middle class in Nairobi, very loud on social media, were fully backing Miguna. Yeah, they saw him as the ideal candidate for governor of Nairobi. Well, you saw the election results. Yeah, Miguna was nowhere. That is the political reality. Bwana Wanyonyi would have won because he knows this fact that I've just given to you. He has been very busy in the other slum areas in Nairobi. He is known all over the place. Yeah. He has been very careful, yeah, not to say anything against Mike Sonko, yeah, who holds a lot of sway in Nairobi slums. Still, yeah, so he was going to win this one, hands down. But then now Azimio stepped in. Now, first of all, let us understand why Azimio have made this decision that looks like it's going to lose them the seat that was theirs. You see, Azimio has 2 major political partners. Yeah, I know people talk about the 3-legged stool, but that is just up there in the air. The 3rd leg of the stool, ni fupi sana. I look at it as a 2-legged stool. Okay? We have ODM and we have Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee. Now, it is not fair if ODM take the presidency, okay, and then ODM also takes Nairobi governor. It's not fair. Yeah. What will even the Jubilee people tell their supporters? Yeah, vote for Raila. Let's make Raila president. And then let's also make Raila's man governor. That can't sell politically. No way. So it seems to have been agreed that president will be from ODM, but governor of Nairobi will be from Jubilee. And so the decision to front Polycarp Igathe has got very little to do with the Baba. Yeah. That was the decision of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And in my opinion, there's very good reasoning behind this decision. And very quickly, it's this. We have had the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. People have made noise about it. People have complained. Unconstitutional. What is this? But look at what has happened in Nairobi. The face of the city in the sun. Yes, that's what it used to be called. When it was a place of glory. Yeah. When it was a very clean city. Capital city of Kenya. Something to be proud of. That's what it used to be called. Yeah. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services has changed the face of Nairobi. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services has been the best thing that has ever happened to Nairobi for decades. That's the truth. It doesn't matter what side of the political divide you belong to. But if you are a man of truth or a woman of truth, that is the naked truth. Now, what does this tell us? It tells us that the best way to get things done in Nairobi is to make a clear distinction between Nairobi politics and the running of Nairobi administration. Okay? That seems to be the best formula to get things done in Nairobi. And it is easy to see why. You see, at City Hall we also have cartels. The same cartels that have held the mighty government of Kenya at ransom. Yeah, I believe to date, cartels are not a joke. Whatever you want to think about them. People who must get some certain contracts. Must. Others will have no peace. Otherwise, you'll experience sabotage. They must get certain contracts. Yeah. So the only way to deal with cartels is to make a neat, and very distinct, deliberate, border between politics of Nairobi and administration development of Nairobi. Because what we have seen with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services is that the politicians have made the usual noise. The politics has gone on. Meanwhile, the NMS chaps, led by a military man, have done wonders. Now, in my opinion, President Uhuru Kenyatta is a great leader. I'm not saying he doesn't have weaknesses. I'm not saying he has not messed up in the past. No. Understand me. President Uhuru Kenyatta is a great leader only because he is different from the typical Kenyan politician. How is he different? He is different in the fact that he focuses, with lesser precision, on one thing and one thing alone: results. The character of President Uhuru Kenyatta is that he's not interested in anything else. He just wants results. And in my opinion, that is good for Kenya. That is what Kenya really needs now. Because politics will always be there. But then as you do your politics, the wananchi suffer. As you do your politics, development is pulled back. Because it's okay to have politics, strict politics, in a developed Western country, where the infrastructure is in place, things are running, there are strong institutions in place. So everything runs itself. In that kind of environment, politics is welcome. You can politic the whole day and night if you want. It will not affect the people. But in a developing country like Kenya, politics cripples development. I just want us to get into the kind of thinking the president may be having. And so for these reasons, the president fronts Polycarp Igathe, a business executive, a man who was running and managing billions of dollars in the private sector. Now all he has to do is to come into the public sector, into Nairobi, and use those skills to get things done in Nairobi. And meanwhile, he will be protected politically by a leading politician in the city, Tim Wanyoyi. Now, as a resident of Nairobi, you may be very upset. Watu wamefanya nini? They bring, who's Polycarp Igathe? Who is this they're bringing in? Oh, they've messed up. UDA is going to win this thing. You might be very hurt. You might be very angry. But if this team wins the election, even as you're very annoyed in your house, water will flow through the taps. Things will happen in the city. Your life will be better. It will be more comfortable in Nairobi. We'll attract more foreign investors, create more job opportunities. Things will be better, even as you're very annoyed with Azimio. That's really what it is. But you see, we can never ignore the politics. History is full of people who were very determined to do good, to make a difference, to do something that will stand the test of time. But they were stopped dead on their tracks by politics. Politics is deadly. It is the nature of politics to work on your emotions and make you a complete idiot. Make you completely blind. As your emotions work overtime. And you call for justice. And you complain. And you complain day and night about things that are unconstitutional. That's really what it is. Usicheze na siasa. And in my opinion, it is very good news for Nairobians, those who live in Nairobi, and patriotic Kenyans who understand how important the capital of Kenya is, and the surrounding county, how important it is for our future and the future of our children. It is very good news for those people that the UDA and Kenya Kwanza outfits were asleep, because there was an opportunity, a political card here that they would have played and run away with the gubernatorial seat. Had they given this thing to Margaret Wanjiru, the UDA nomination to run for governor, to Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, things would have been elephant for Azimio. Because you see, the majority of people in Nairobi belong to the Kikuyu community. And this thing of Azimio, going to the boardroom to decide on a non-politician to be the next governor of Nairobi would have played very much against Azimio. And UDA would have had enough momentum with the Kikuyu vote fully behind them to upset things in Nairobi. And the fact that the bishop is a woman would have been an added advantage. Because the tribal factor would have been soft enough for the other tribes to take in. And most voters would have looked at Margaret Wanjiru, most non-Kikuyu voters would have looked at Margaret Wanjiru as a woman first, before looking at her tribe. And chances are extremely high that UDA would have won this one easily. But then what did the UDA High Command do? They went and quickly nominated Johnson Sakaja. No offense intended, this good man. But then this is politics. We're just discussing the reality. The reality of the politics. So, let's quickly tie up everything and make our conclusion. And maybe we should do that with a question. Will the Azimio team still end up winning Nairobi? So that the next governor of Nairobi, despite all this controversy, despite what people are saying, will be Polycarp Igathe, and Nairobi residents will end up being on the winning side, even as some of them are annoyed and very upset? Or will Team Azimio fall flat on their face in Nairobi and lose this key county to the opposition, to the other side of the political divide? Well, I have to admit, that is a very difficult question. It depends on what is going to happen next. How is Azimio going to play this? But there's something I know about the people in Azimio. They are gurus in politics, especially a man called Raila Amolo Odinga. That is a man you should never write off or underestimate. Even if it is a seat for a county assembly, never just dismiss Raila. He doesn't win all the time, when it comes to one of his favored candidates, but he wins most of the time. He has an amazing track record. And therefore, I suspect that Team Azimio will still win Nairobi. And that it will be good for the people of Nairobi. That's my opinion. But it is going to be a close race, especially considering the whispers I'm hearing that a man called Mike Sonko, who is supposed to be in Azimio because he's in Wiper, I'm hearing whispers that the man is going to play chini ya maji to influence the outcome of Nairobi. And of course he has got something very personal. He's got a personal reason to do this, mainly because of his history with a man called Polycarp Igathe, who once upon a time was his deputy in Nairobi. But let's wait and see what happens. Please remember to do me the big favor of sharing this video if you think it is worth sharing. And I'll be very grateful. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.